Dollar. Dirt on money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yup, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. We have today disturbing last found footage of missing persons. I wanted to say disturbing lost footage found of missing persons.
You just about to make up your own.
But I'm saying that's what I would like for it to say: disturbing found footage.
But it necessarily wasn't. Anyway.
All right. Look like it's gonna sit you out there on the HBCU field. Look at that. But hey, make sure you check out the links in the description box
down below.
You already know where to go, man. Y'all want to first support or just have further content, man? Go over there. Extra dose of Kid and C Monday through Friday. Also, Monday. It's so much, bro. Monday through Monday, 7 days a week, 3 videos a day over here, sometimes 4 over here on the Kid and C Reacts. I said Monday through Monday, 7 days a week. Monday through Monday, 7 days a week. Sunday through Saturday.
Why you just didn't say Sunday too?
I said, bro, I said I did this for a reason. See, let me cook. Let me cook. Let him cook. Also, you can check out weekly content over there on the Patreon as well if you want to be an exclusive member to exclusive content, man, that you not see here on YouTube from us. Chill out, see? Chill out.
Chill.
Let me do the props, love, man. It's every time. But I'm trying to.
I ain't saying nothing.
But make you also if you enjoy today's visuals,
like it with a thumbs up.
Also, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, man.
Please do that.
We're on the road to 300K by what?
By the end of the year.
Yes, by the end of the year.
Yes.
Man. We would love to hit 300K by the end of the year. But we can only get there with what?
With your help.
But let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what it's about. Sorry. It's one of those days. Let's go.
Sophia McKenna. On the night of May 27th, 2018, 20-year-old Spencer Mugford met up with his friend Sophia McKenna in the parking lot of the University of Connecticut Avery Point, where Spencer was a student. At the time, Sophia was in a toxic and abusive relationship with a guy named Austin Cordova, which had gotten worse in the months leading up to that night in May. According to Sophia's mom, Austin was seeing someone else while he was still dating Sophia, after which Sophia also decided to date other guys. When Austin found out, he went to Sophia's apartment and tried to kick down the door, allegedly threatening to end her life. It was after this incident that Sophia started to spend a lot of her time around Spencer Mugford, whom she had met while working at a local spa. They dated for a while, but it didn't take long before they decided to go back to just being friends. A couple of weeks later, Spencer took on another job on a charter boat, taking people out on the water for half-day fishing trips. That night in May, Spencer and Sophia met at the parking lot and got in a mastless sailboat they took from the university campus and headed toward the New London Ledge Lighthouse, a popular tourist attraction in Connecticut that's known as one of the creepiest buildings in the state. A little after 1 a.m., Sophia used Spencer's phone to upload a video to his Snapchat story, where he can be seen paddling on the water aboard the tiny mastless sailboat.
Yo, we're out here in the ocean with us. That is the land. Like, we still have to get to there. Wait, where? Oh, we're almost there.
In the video, Sophia points the phone to the shore and jokingly emphasizes how long they still have left to get to the lighthouse, and the two friends seem in pretty good spirits as they travel toward the lighthouse. A few minutes later, at around 2 a.m., after finally arriving at the New London Ledge Lighthouse, Spencer posted a picture of Sophia in front of a no trespassing sign to his Snapchat. That was the last time either of them was ever seen again. The next day, Austin reached out to Sophia's mother, Michelle, and said that he was worried because he hadn't heard from her, though they had plans to go shopping. That's when Michelle realized she had a bunch of
Austin?
The ex.
Yeah, reached out to her. Okay.
calls from an unknown number from 2:05 a.m. to 2:09 a.m. the previous evening. And when she called the unknown number back, she realized it was Spencer's cell phone. Fearing the worst, Michelle reported her daughter missing, and at around 6 p.m. that same day, the Coast Guard launched an official search, during which they found Sophia's car parked at the Yukon parking lot with her phone still inside, which would explain why she used Spencer's phone to call her mother the evening prior. The Coast Guard also found Spencer's shirt tied to a boat cleat on the dock of the New London Ledge Lighthouse, which meant that he had probably used his shirt to dock the sailboat, except the sailboat was no longer there. While all of this was happening, Austin and his dad decided to start their own private search for Sophia and Spencer, and as they were flying over the water, they spotted the Yukon sailboat flipped upside down near Truman's Beach on the north shore of Long Island, around 13 miles from the lighthouse. Strangely, they found a series of unidentified fingerprints on the sailboat which were never analyzed. On May 28th, just one day after the disappearance, the Coast Guard suspended the search due to the harsh weather, with plans to relaunch the search if they found or heard anything new that could help them track down the missing two. On June 8th, 11 days after the disappearance, Spencer's body was found floating in the ocean by a fisherman, pretty much in the opposite direction from the sailboat that Austin and his father had found a few days earlier. Both alcohol and THC were found in Spencer's system. Even though the official cause of death was labeled as accidental drowning with no signs of human-induced trauma, it didn't take long for people to start coming up with some dark theories as to why Spencer had drowned while Sophia's body hadn't been found. On July 22, 2018, the Facebook group Finding Sophia McKenna was formed, where people came together to try to piece the puzzle of Sophia's disappearance. Although the cause of Spencer's death was pretty clear, it seemed strange to a lot of people that the search had been called off so quickly, and that Spencer's phone records were never released. It also seemed a little suspicious that the fingerprints on the sailboat hadn't been analyzed, and that Sophia hadn't called 911 on the night of the disappearance, even though she clearly needed help. The heap of unanswered questions made a lot of people point fingers at Austin, alleging that he had somehow murdered Spencer and later took Sophia to another location before murdering her as well. As of August 2024, there isn't much evidence to support this theory, and even Sophia's mother claims she never believed Austin was responsible despite their troubled relationship. Based on the information that surfaced during the investigation, it's very likely that the sailboat became untied and started floating away at some point in the night, and that Spencer may have drowned trying to bring it back to the dock. But what happened after this is anyone's guess. One of the most popular theories that spread online was that after Spencer drowned, Sophia was left alone at the lighthouse screaming for help. According to this theory, a lone boater may have stopped to offer help and then kidnapped Sophia to either murder her or sell her to traffickers. This is a pretty unlikely theory, especially because the chances of another boater going out to the lighthouse so late in the night are pretty slim, but there's no definitive evidence to prove this isn't what happened. Another theory that was thrown around on TikTok and Facebook was that Spencer and Sophia had allegedly gotten into an argument at the lighthouse, which led to both of their deaths. However, to me this is even more unlikely than the lone boater theory, as the two appeared to be really good friends and didn't have a history of violence. I mean, if you look at the Snapchat video that was uploaded to Spencer's story just a few minutes before the calls took place, it's pretty clear that they enjoy each other's presence, and something very unexpected would have had to have happened to result in such a tragic accident. As of today, the exact cause of Sophia's disappearance is still unknown, though the cops and Sophia's family now fully believe that Spencer drowned while trying to bring back the sailboat, and Sophia probably didn't want to call 911 out of fear of getting in trouble for trespassing. It's impossible to know if she drowned while trying to rescue her friend, if she fell into the water by accident, or if something else happened to her while she was alone at the lighthouse.
Ain't no telling, bro. Like, unfortunately, because this happened when?
18.
And we haven't discovered a body since.
Of Sophia's, yeah.
There's always hope. There's always hope. But in a case like this, you know what I'm saying? Without me saying it, I don't want to say it, but RIP to Spencer. I will definitely say that since we have recovered a body. Maybe Sophia parents still have hope that they will be able to find her one day.
Yeah.
Hopefully alive. Hopefully they find out what happened.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
I would like the theory of Spencer possibly falling into the water and the boat slipped away, and then
Felt
that theory sounds like, okay, that's gonna be logical.
Especially since y'all found alcohol and THC in the system, then you can chump it up. Maybe he was a little,
Yeah,
a little intoxicated, maybe.
but it
trying to
still
hit the boat
doesn't
and
make
whatever.
sense what happened to Sophia.
Yeah,
And that's
still
where
kind
I'm
of like, did she go in after? Because I wonder, was she drinking as well or smoking as well and stuff like that?
But the problem I have with it is the response of Austin. The reason why, obviously, Sophia and Spencer have always been friends.
Mm-hmm.
She was dating Austin, possibly while being friends with Spencer, right? After her and Austin broke up, her and Spencer tried to date. Let's not act like, especially in college, people don't get jealous of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Her and Spencer didn't work out, but they remained friends. They just said, hey, let's see. We have a lot of chemistry. People do that. They try to see, hey, we're so much better off as just friends. The relationship will probably hurt our friendship. But the response and how immediate he wanted to put himself involved with both of them when he only had a relationship with Sophia. We don't know his relationship with Spencer. Mm-hmm. So why are you in such a quick hurry to? And then after searching all this for stuff, you and your dad just so happened to
come across them.
It's red flags.
I know what you're saying, but I do hope that.
But I'll need more evidence than just that to throw assumptions on him. Mm-hmm. My bad. I just want to say that. You can go.
No, I was just gonna say I do hope that that more comes about, like, because obviously they don't have too much, and everything is just kind of like speculations or people coming up with their assumptions and stuff like that. But I do hope that if she is still out there, that she can be found, or if she is
still found,
if she is deceased, then I just pray that her body could be recovered for just closure of her family.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nancy Ng. In October 2023, a group of 12 Americans traveled to Guatemala for a Be the Change yoga retreat next to the beautiful Lake Atilan, the deepest lake in Central America. Among those 12 people was 29-year-old Nancy Ng, a California woman who had been to the same retreat the previous year with the same instructor and had enjoyed it so much that she decided to go again in 2023. At around 10:30 a.m. on October 19, 10 people from the group went kayaking in Lake Atilan. Before paddling to the middle of the lake, a video was taken of the entire retreat group where Nancy could be seen waving at the camera as she paddled a few feet from the shore. She seemed happy as she made her way to join the rest of the group, but sadly, this is footage of the last time Nancy was ever seen. After the video ended, everyone in the group paddled in separate directions, with Nancy kayaking toward the middle of the lake along with Christina Blazek, another woman from California. What happens next depends on who you ask, but according to the owners of the kayak rental company, the group came back from the excursion a few minutes later, with a lot of them looking pretty nervous and on edge. That's when they noticed the group had one less person. Nancy hadn't come back. Strangely, nobody in the group seemed to want to talk to the owners. As per the owner's testimony, the retreat goers went home as quickly as they could, failing to even pay for the kayaks or provide an explanation as to what happened to Nancy.
Wow.
According to witnesses, Christina Blazek looked visibly shaken and had to be calmed down by the rest of the group as they made their way back home. This is where things start to get a little weird. Even though the group wasn't scheduled to go back to the US for a few more days, they all pushed up their departure and went back home just 8 hours after the excursion.
Wow.
According to Eduardo Ramad, the organizer of the Be the Change retreat, the group immediately reported the disappearance to the Guatemalan police. But according to the cops themselves, the group took almost 24 hours to notify them that Nancy had gone missing.
But y'all already left.
Strangely, when Eduardo first notified Nancy's family of the incident, he didn't specify that Nancy had gone missing in the lake. Instead, he tried to get away with vaguely implying that she wasn't coming back, which led Nancy's family to initially believe that she was planning on permanently relocating to Guatemala. By that time, the Guatemalan police had already launched a search for Nancy, but after 72 hours, the search was suspended, leaving Nancy's family to fund the rest of the investigation themselves. While all of this was happening, Nancy's family tried to reach out to Christina Blazek, as she was allegedly the last person who saw Nancy missing. But she refused to talk to the family and took an entire month to give her statement through her lawyer once she was back in the US. According to Christina, she and Nancy had crossed paths at the deepest part of the lake as they were about to head back to the shore. Out of nowhere, Nancy decided to hop out of the kayak to go for a swim. The water was pretty rough, and Lake Atitlan is over 1,000 feet deep, which is why Christina allegedly cautioned Nancy against going in the water. But based on Christina's statement, Nancy didn't listen to her and jumped off her kayak at the deepest part of the lake, leaving her kayak to float away in the strong current. Sensing that Nancy was about to be in serious trouble, Christina paddled as hard as she could to retrieve the kayak and bring it back to her, but by the time she got back to where her friend was swimming, Nancy was gone. Refusing to put herself in danger to rescue Nancy, who was now submerged under the strong currents of Lake Atitlan, Christina reportedly paddled back to the shore screaming for help, but by the time she made it back, it was too late. Strangely, the Guatemalan police said Christina gave them her statement about the incident and was very forthcoming with them, but when Nancy's family reached out to the Guatemalan authorities, they couldn't find any records of Christina's statement on their files. At this time, allegations started being thrown around that Nancy had never been offered a life jacket before she went on her kayak. But the owners of the kayak rental company went on record to clarify that that was completely false, and that the only reason Nancy could be seen without a life jacket in the video was that she decided not to take one. Because Christina refused to talk to the victim's family, they took matters into their own hands and did something that was honestly pretty messed up. They revealed Christina's name publicly and accused her of withholding information from them. As soon as they did that, Christina started receiving death threats from people all over the world. The case garnered a ton of attention on TikTok and Facebook, with dozens of internet sleuths leaking Christina's address and cell phone to threaten her and make her life a living nightmare. As the case gained more and more traction online, some of the wildest theories started to get thrown around, with many people alleging that Nancy had been murdered by her retreat group in a cult sacrifice or as a part of an elaborate hate crime on account of Nancy's Asian descent. What's really strange about this case is how different everyone's testimony is about how the group acted when they realized Nancy was missing. If they had acted a little more transparently, it honestly wouldn't be too hard to believe that everything Christina said was true. But because they acted so shady and stayed silent for so long after the incident, it's understandable why everyone on the internet accused them of hiding something. As of today, many witnesses still haven't given their statements, and there are even allegations that the group bribed the Guatemalan police to let them leave the country early, but there's no definitive proof that this really happened. My personal opinion is that Christina is probably telling the truth and that the group most likely didn't have anything to do with Nancy's death. I'm not justifying the way—
Bro, sometimes y'all gotta stop being so gullible and just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
let me just say for instance, I went here with a group of friends, right? And something like this happened. You think I'm about to pack up my stuff? If it's something actually happened. We contacted authorities immediately. We would have contacted kayaking people immediately and see if there's some kind of way we can get somebody out there to rescue her. My friend is.
We're not coming back. Let me just hear him finish, because he just, no disrespect, but come on, dude.
And that the group most likely didn't have anything to do with Nancy's death. I'm not justifying the way they acted, but to a certain extent, it's understandable that they'd be nervous after the incident, considering that they were in a foreign country where they didn't speak the language and didn't know how the police would react to Christina's—
Obviously, they speak the language and know how to
version of the events. Still, their suspicious behavior leaves a lot of room for doubt. Hopefully, more information will continue to surface on Nancy's disappearance, but for the time being, this case will have to remain a mystery.
Come on now. Come on, dude. We can't be that damn stupid and naive. I'm not looking at just Christina. I'm looking at everyone.
Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, so he has his opinion.
But what I'm saying is, hold on. I understand we're in a foreign country, and there might be a language barrier. But if there is such a language barrier that y'all have a hard time communicating with them, why do y'all constantly keep going back, right? Also, while y'all down there, y'all exploring places, right? So there can't be that much lack of a communication for y'all not to get people involved, for y'all to even rent kayaks and go kayaking. Somebody's communicating with them some type of way. Mm-hmm. And let's not be that damn dumb to not understand that there's people around their place that speak English well enough to understand the fact that we need help. Somebody's gone missing. There's people around. Let's not act like My bad.
No, I wasn't about to say no. I was about to say, if a situation like that happened and I was there, it's just suspicious to me that y'all just up and left too.
In a manner.
That, and just the way that it seemed as it was explained in the video that y'all were acting and not even want to communicate with the family. Why would I not want to communicate?
Not even just that, see.
Why would I not want to communicate with the family? Why would I just abruptly just leave? Especially when we're not.
I'm trying to stop. I'm trying to
let me finish what I'm saying.
I'm trying to add on to a part of what you're saying.
Okay,
I'm saying also even returning the kayaks without paying for them and speaking to the people.
That's what yeah.
Like
everything just seems suspicious, but I don't know. I understand everyone acts different under certain circumstances, but it's very suspicious to me. But
when all y'all return to land, right? And y'all all like people notice and then say, hey, you know, y'all for one, y'all don't pay for y'all experience. That's rude as hell, anyways. Y'all kayak, y'all got a service, pay the people. You know what I'm saying? Also, if there's, say for instance, there's 8 of y'all, one comes back missing, only 7 of y'all come back. Now, for one, I'm out of a kayak. Mm-hmm. 2, somebody that I'm also held liable for that person not coming because, say for instance, there's something wrong with my kayak, that person sinks or something malfunction, I could be held with negligence behind that, you know. And was she the only person that not have on her life jacket? Because from the video, everybody else was blurred out. The only person that wasn't blurred out was her. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure we could do like thorough research since it was such a help me out.
I don't know what you're trying to say. But
recent event. It was such a recent event. It happened in 2003. I mean, 2023.
Last year.
Yeah. So since it being such a recent
but I'm pretty sure with him having a video, the original video is out there, so you can go and actually look, I guess, find it yourself and see if other people had theirs as well. But from how it's explained, since it said that she chose not to wear one, it made it seem as maybe she did not. She was the only one.
Or was that just something that they came up with?
But I don't know.
And have we talked to anybody else? And what is the statement everybody else given? Because if she jumped out, it was and did that, it was not take you a full month to make a statement and make a statement through your lawyer. Mm-hmm. Y'all would have made a statement before y'all even left. Because why do we abruptly leave 8 hours after her disappearance? And then why we left 8 hours? We came back home way earlier than we were supposed to be. We only contacted the authorities 24 hours after the matter. So now we're not even in your country when we contact you to report that she went missing. So we can't be held responsible for her going missing because we're not there anymore. Man, it's red flags all over this story, though. Some not right. And I don't know. Are we pointing blame only at her? I think everybody should be held responsible, though. Because all y'all went home with a secret. Y'all know what happened.
Patricia Meehan. On April 20th, 1989, a woman named Peggy Bueller drove down a dark country road near a small town in Montana named Circle. Suddenly, she saw a woman driving in her lane on the wrong side of the road, heading straight toward her at a pretty high speed. Peggy swerved and was fortunately able to avoid crashing head-on. Unfortunately, Carol White, the woman in the car behind Peggy, wasn't as fortunate. Carol had witnessed the near miss just seconds earlier and had attempted to swerve out of the way as well, but was struck head-on by the woman driving the wrong way. Shocked from the crash and understandably a little dazed, Carol stepped out of the car and tried to find the woman who had caused the accident. A few seconds later, a blonde woman in her mid-30s crawled out of her wrecked vehicle and stood on the side of the road. According to Carol, the woman didn't say anything. She just stared at her with a blank expression. Shortly after, Peggy Bueller looped back around to make sure everyone was okay after the accident, and that's when she saw the blonde woman climb over a fence running parallel to the highway. In her witness statement, Peggy said, "As I looked out across the accident, I noticed someone on the other side of the fence, standing there like a spectator, not like it had happened to her." By the time the cops arrived, the blonde woman was gone, but they managed to identify her thanks to her license plates as 38-year-old Patricia Meehan, a resident of Bozeman, Montana, where she worked as a rancher in the summer. For 5 days, the police combed the area with dogs and helicopters, but found no signs of Patricia, only a series of footprints about a mile away from the crash site that eventually disappeared. According to police reports, Patricia had been on her way to her parents' house in Pittsburgh before the crash. Interestingly, the cops later found that Patricia had spoken to her parents on the day before the crash and had told them that she was under a lot of stress and wanted to move back in with them for a while. Because Patricia was a pretty stable woman and didn't have any problems with alcohol or drugs, her parents were caught off guard at the request, but accepted under the conditions that she see a therapist before moving back in with them. So, before heading to her parents' house, Patricia scheduled an appointment the following day with a specialist and prepared to make the trip to Pittsburgh. It's unknown why she passed through the town of Circle, which isn't exactly on the way to Pittsburgh from Bozeman, but it's possible she may have gotten lost. With no real leads other than Patricia's identity and her family's statements, the cops tried to find a viable explanation as to where she could have gone. After a while, they narrowed it down to 2 possible theories. Either Patricia had hitched a ride after disappearing into the darkness, or she stowed away on a hay truck that the cops had seen a little more than a mile from the crash site. This is where things get a little strange. Over the next few days, a bunch of people started calling the cops, claiming that they had seen Patricia Meehan at different truck stops and diners along I-70, acting dazed and confused and asking strangers for rides. By the end of June that year, more than 25 sightings had been reported to Patricia's parents, who had both traveled to Montana in hopes of finding their missing daughter. Interestingly, a lot of people who claimed to have seen Patricia verified that it was her when her parents showed them pictures and videos of her, but every single one of them had failed to report the missing woman to the actual cops. It was as if she was doing everything to stay one step ahead of the cops and her parents, even in her seemingly confused state. In the fall of that year, more and more sightings and reports of Patricia started surfacing. In September, Patricia allegedly hitched a ride from a woman in Victor, Montana, who offered to let her stay with her and her husband for the night. The next day, they dropped her off at a truck stop to bring her closer to some friends she said she was visiting in another part of the state, and by the time the couple realized they had a wanted missing woman on their hands, Patricia was gone. While all of this was happening, Patricia's parents found a roll of undeveloped film in one of her cameras, where they found a pretty haunting self-portrait that was taken shortly before the accident and disappearance. In it, Patricia can be seen staring at the mirror with a vacant expression and a camera between her hands. As far as we know, this was the last time Patricia was ever photographed. As of today, at least 100 people have reported seeing Patricia Meehan since her disappearance, but the authorities haven't managed to locate her. With the extremely bizarre nature of the case, everyone from the cops to internet sleuths to the general public has been left wondering what on earth could have happened to Patricia. And this has obviously given rise to all kinds of theories to explain her disappearance. According to one of the most popular ones, Patricia may have suffered from amnesia after the crash, which is possible when you consider the state of mind she was in before she made the trip to Pittsburgh. Multiple psychologists have weighed in to explain that a period of intense stress combined with a potential head injury could have resulted in full-on amnesia, which hauntingly could have made Patricia want to travel across the state in a desperate search for her lost memories. This would explain her dazed and confused behavior, but doesn't explain how she managed to elude the authorities after over 100 people across the country allegedly saw her and interacted with her. One of the darker theories is that Patricia caused the accident on the road on purpose to take her own life, which explains why she would take a detour to Circle instead of taking a more direct route to Pittsburgh. Although this is definitely possible considering she was depressed, it begs the question of why she would schedule an appointment with a therapist in Pittsburgh if she was planning on taking her own life just a few hours later.
Keep it normal.
According to other sources, Patricia may never have hitched a ride from anyone and potentially just wandered off into the woods before drowning in a nearby body of water. This would be extremely strange considering that so many people pretty much swore on their lives that they had seen the exact woman in the pictures Patricia's parents showed them. But stranger things have happened, and a couple of detectives have mentioned this is definitely possible. Because the incident happened so long ago, it's unlikely we'll ever know what happened to Patricia Meehan, and this will probably just have to remain one of the strangest, most haunting unsolved disappearances in history.
Or she possibly had a nervous breakdown before her anyways, but she knew she was on the verge of having a nervous breakdown, and that's the reason why she reached out to her parents and said she pleaded for help. But you never know what people like in their psychological aspect of it. It's like what they really are going through. And obviously for her to be driving on the wrong side of the road like literally targeting other cars. She's trying to do something because one car swerving missed her. It'll be different, like, oh, she was tired or something. She was swerving. No, it looked like she was literally trying to drive head on, and then she was swerving, missed one car, but you collide with another car instead of you realizing, okay, damn, I messed up. You know, you fled the scene because you like, dang. I do believe it's a possibility she was trying to possibly take herself out. But we'll never know.
Yeah, in a situation like this, you'll never know, honestly. And people probably did see her. If this couple said that is the girl that was staying in our house.
True.
Like, I mean, it is possible that definitely was her that everyone was seeing. And the thing with her, like, I guess missing the police, that's just maybe a coincidence. That. What was that? Anyway, it's that they were never able to, like, find her or come in contact with her.
Like every time she dropped off, they report. Yeah.
Because things are not being relayed to y'all right away, too. So.
And we got to remember it's the time period, too.
89.
89. Like, some people had cell phones. I think 89.
I don't know. I wasn't born.
You said what?
I don't know. I wasn't born.
I wasn't born either. Shoot. I've just assumed people. Some people.
I even thought of what you did. I probably thought of.
My sister was here, so I probably was thought of.
Let me see who was here.
Your
my
sister.
Brother was here. My sister was here. My brother was here.
Nah.
No, what?
I doubt your brother was here. Brother was born in 89? But probably not when this happened. He was thought of.
What month was this? I didn't get
your sister was
I didn't get the month, but
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was beginning.
He was thought of though, so
he probably was born then. He
was born in the beginning.
He was born in the beginning.
So even if it happened in January, he was thought of.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. But it's sad, man.
Yeah, this is a sad situation. Especially since me, like, you know, like I know my child is on the way to us, right? I know
that's
that
a
she's
far
going
drive,
through something. Too. Not even knowing what she's going through 100%, just knowing that she's dealing with something. You know what I'm saying? And she never made it to us. We have no answers.
And the question of why was she scheduled a therapist appointment? People do that just so people won't.
Her parents made her.
Yeah, I'm saying she was scheduled an appointment just to not throw people off, even if she was trying to.
Oh, you saying
if she was trying to take her own.
Well, we don't. Things happen so quickly when you're dealing with something. Yeah. Like maybe you do have intentions to do one thing, but then some may trigger something. And
it's a long ride by yourself, quiet. You in your head the whole time.
Yeah.
Kaylin Louder. At around 9 p.m. on September 26, 2014, a woman named Kaylin Louder made a panicked 911 call in which she alleged that there was a fight going on inside her condo's clubhouse. When she asked if any weapons had been involved in the fight, she claimed she had heard gunshots. When the cops arrived at the condo, they saw a wedding reception full of happy guests and had trouble believing what Kaylin...
I remember this.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we watched the video.
Arrived at the condo, they saw a wedding reception full of happy guests and had trouble believing what Kaylin had told them. According to the police report, one of the guests admitted he had previously lit a firecracker, which Kaylin may have mistaken for a gunshot. Strangely, a few hours later, Kaylin once again called 911, but hung up before the dispatcher picked up. A few minutes later, the cops called her back, and they reported that she sounded pretty confused. Although the cops had trouble understanding what she was saying, Kaylin did confess that her roommate thought she was acting delusional and paranoid. A little after 8 a.m. the next morning, she once again called the cops, and this is a call that is most often referred to as one of the most disturbing recorded 911 calls publicly available. I'll play a fragment of the call so you can hear it for yourself.
When I have an intruder at my house.
Repeat the address for verification.
They're stealing from my house.
Okay, say your address one more time. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Get them out of my house.
Okay, do you know who this person is?
No, I don't. I just know that there's an intruder in my house.
You don't know who they are?
No, I don't.
Were weapons involved or mentioned?
They're not talking or responding. I'm just telling them to leave so I can hear them taking things.
So you haven't seen them, you can just hear them?
Yes, correct.
During the call, Kaylin tells the dispatcher that there's an intruder in her apartment, but then contradicts herself several times and starts saying a bunch of things that just don't make any sense. At one point during the call, Kaylin's roommate Carol walks in her room and sounds pretty confused at the allegations that someone broke into their apartment. A few seconds later, Kaylin explains that the previous night she had seen multiple people stalking her through her window and apparently were planning on breaking in.
Okay, where exactly are you?
I'm in the back bedroom.
Where did the suspect enter the building?
There's only one door. Get out of my house.
Is there anyone else in the building who belongs there?
Yes, there's 6 apartments.
Okay, is there anybody else in your apartment that should be there?
I believe she is here. I have a roommate. Hey, Carol.
Never mind. I was gonna say, if you're on 911 and somebody is broken into your house, even if they're going through your stuff, because you will hear it in the background. You get what I'm saying? And then when he asked you multiple times for the address, you didn't want to get an address out. A lot of times in situations, I'll be wondering, like, where are people mentals? Like, has her roommate seen signs of things?
But she already had said that the roommate had said that she was showing.
Has she been on drugs?
Signs of.
Yeah.
That was stated in the beginning, but I don't know if that was like a one time, like she just started kind of seeing a change in her, or if it's something that has been going on.
Yeah.
Lock the door. There's something going on there. Come here. Yeah. They might have left.
Okay, what's going on now? They've left now?
Yeah, so I'm just going to look and see if anything's been taken. Someone opened the door, and I heard them come in. Don't do that, Carol. The door's still locked. It's impossible. They must have a key or something. Because when I took the dog out, I heard people talking. And there was people last night, like, sitting outside the window. And so they, like, were scoping us out or something. Why is the door still locked? Well, I can't explain that, but I heard, like, 2 people talking.
Strangely, Carol points out that the door to the apartment is still locked and has been locked all morning, which would obviously make it impossible for someone to break in, but Kaylin still sounds pretty upset and convinced that there was an intruder in the apartment. Even though it was relatively clear from the call that there hadn't been a break-in, the cops still went to Kaylin's residence to make sure she was okay, and once there, they confirmed that there were no signs someone had broken in. Later that day, at around 6 p.m., the condo's security cameras captured Kaylin outside of her apartment, walking barefoot in the rain toward a little creek close to the condo entrance. The footage shows her carrying her dog as she walks back to her apartment from the creek. It's unclear if she's talking to herself or to her dog in the footage, but her behavior definitely seems a little bit off.
Yeah.
A few seconds later, she can be seen running back to her apartment, as if she was running away from someone.
Or is she trying to run, have the dog run behind her? Have you ever did that with Jay sometimes?
No.
I have. I take him out the leash and let him, come on, run. Because she's not running. She's like...
Where the dog? I thought she was trying to get the dog home.
Because the dog's not on the leash. Right?
Tragically, that video was the last time Kaylin was ever seen alive. Later that day, she went missing after leaving her phone, her dog, her shoes, and her wallet at home. During the investigation, her family revealed that she never left her dog Phyllis alone for more than an hour, even taking him along to special events such as weddings and graduations. From the start of the investigation, the cops alleged that Kaylin appeared to be mentally ill. Although police combed the entire area, the initial search for Kaylin was unsuccessful, and it wasn't until 2.5 months later on December 1st of that year that her body was discovered by West Valley City work crews looking at a drainage pipe. Disturbingly, the work crew noticed her body sticking out of the water in the middle of the river, partially hidden by plants. But because her body had been decomposing in the water for so long, it took the cops a while to determine her age and gender. And even when they confirmed her identity, it was impossible for them to determine the cause of death, which added another layer of mystery to the case. From the moment the body was discovered, Kaylin's family claimed that foul play had been involved, but this was impossible to confirm due to the level of decomposition in her body. What's strange about this case is that her body was found pretty far away from where the authorities speculated she had accidentally fallen into the creek and drowned. The river she allegedly fell into is pretty shallow, and even with the heavy rain, it seems unlikely that her body could have been carried all the way to where it was found without getting snagged on a branch or stuck in the mud. Even though the authorities chalked up the whole thing to an accidental drowning that stemmed from what they assumed to be a psychotic break, there are a lot of details in the case that simply don't add up. For starters, Kaylin didn't really have a history of mental illness. Although she was finding it hard to find a job and had allegedly been a little down for a few months according to her father's testimony, pretty much everyone else in her life had described her as stable and relatively happy. However, earlier in 2014, Kaylin had gotten a job at a school but was let go a few months later, which according to her dad made her a little depressed. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, she had been rejected from another job opportunity, which probably didn't do wonders for her emotional state. I was able to find that there had been some events in Kaylin's past that may have contributed to her deteriorating mental state. 3 years after she graduated from college in 2006, her twin brother accidentally murdered their uncle while they were both under the influence of drugs, for which he was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Even though the incident obviously shook her up, she remained pretty stable and never showed signs of her mental health deteriorating, at least not to the point where it would seem normal for her to suddenly start making disturbing 911 calls where she appeared to be delusional. From what I found, there are two main theories to explain what happened to Kaylin. The first theory is that Kaylin suffered from a sudden psychotic break due to all the stress she was under from not being able to find a job. The investigators who proposed this theory claim that Kaylin probably walked barefoot in the rain until she was so tired that she fell into the river. This is definitely a possibility, but one thing that stands out to me about this theory is that nobody reported seeing Kaylin walking around on the street on the day of her disappearance. The second theory is that even if Kaylin was a little paranoid, she wasn't wrong about someone wanting to harm her, and if she truly was being stalked by someone on the night before she called 911 to report the supposed gunfight, they may have gotten to her before the cops could intervene. Still, based on her roommate's testimony, it's possible that Kaylin was really just imagining the whole thing due to her worsening mental state, but we'll likely never know. The case just left dozens of big unanswered questions. For starters, who was Kaylin really talking to in the surveillance video? Was it just her dog? Was she talking to herself? Or was she talking to someone else? Why was she walking barefoot in the rain in the first place? And if she was paranoid and delusional, what could have triggered her mental breakdown? With over 10 years having gone by since the incident, it's very likely that whatever happened to Kaylin Lowder on the evening of September 26, 2014 will remain a mystery.
I do remember this. Like every time we hear this story, it's more details is added.
Because I never heard the 911 call.
Yeah, we never heard that.
Never heard that.
And I think previously, before, we felt as though possibly something did happen to her, or it could have been an accident. I can't remember. I think we've heard this case several times though.
Yeah. I can't recall either, but what did I?
I do believe she was going through something mentally that could have deteriorated over time. Like we don't know her everyday life is, especially how involved her parents is. Her parents might not. Does she talk to her parents every day? How often do she see her parents even for her parents to even be able to recognize the signs?
Things are changing.
Yeah. So especially if she's not seeing them and being around them daily, you don't know what a person is going through daily. People change. It could be 3 months between one time you see them and the next time. 3 months can change someone that fast, you know? So only person that will possibly know something is the roommate. Mm-hmm. Then we look at the roommate as a possible suspect for anything. That's another question as well. You never know. But her case was always very like suspicious and bizarre.
I think now that I'm thinking about, I think I've always like thought the same thing. It was just probably something like mentally, like that what's going on. I don't know exactly because I'm not, not a doctor. I can't pinpoint that. I never suspected the roommate of anything.
I was just throwing that out there.
I know. I'm just saying. I never, when we heard the first time, I never like suspected the roommate or anything. I always did wonder, was she talking to the dog? But now that I'm looking at it again, I'm like, I think she was kind of talking to her because she bent down to talk to him too. So, because I was like, someone's standing behind this like big,
they normally be saying something could possibly somebody was behind the little.
But then I was like, well, then she did bend down, so it does seem like she's talking to the dog. She's like eye level with the dog, so
she might see people too.
I don't know. Well, maybe so, because she did say she was hearing things. So I don't know. But the whole story was just super sad to me. I was like, it's just a sad and a long way to like go out.
Yeah.
Dale Kerstetter. On September 12th, 1987, a 50-year-old security guard and maintenance man named Dale Kerstetter went to work as he usually did at the Corning Glass Works plant in Bradford, Pennsylvania. At 11 p.m., he began his night shift as a weekend security guard. The next morning, at around 7 a.m., the day shift security guard named John Lindquist came to relieve Dale from his shift, but he was nowhere to be found. John immediately went to the cafeteria to see if Dale was there, but the only thing he found was Dale's lunchbox with his food still inside. Strangely, a few minutes later, Dale's truck was found in the parking lot of the plant with his keys, a pack of cigarettes, his backpack, and an empty pistol holster still inside the truck. Sensing something was wrong, the cops brought search dogs to the plant to find Dale. A few minutes later, the dogs traced Dale's scent to the second floor, where the plant's glass furnace was located, along with some pretty valuable platinum pipes. This was pretty strange considering that Dale rarely went to that part of the building and had no business going near the pipes. That's when the plant manager decided to check the security footage from the night before, and what he found was pretty disturbing. The footage you're seeing now is the original footage of the incident, which is now extremely grainy due to the slow deterioration process of the old footage, and it's pretty much useless for the purposes of this video. The video you're about to see is a reenactment of the footage, which is supposed to be perfectly accurate as per my research. In the footage, the manager saw a masked man walking around the plant, apparently scouting the building. Shortly after, the man ran up to the second floor of the plant where the highly valuable platinum pipes were located. A few seconds after this, Dale can be seen speaking to the masked man while he appears to be coerced out of the room, and as the masked man drags him out of the room by the arm, Dale looks straight at the security camera. At one point in the footage, the masked man can be seen dragging a heavy bag out of the building with a manual forklift. That night, $250,000 worth of platinum pipes were stolen from the plant, and Dale Kerstetter was never seen or heard from again. In the aftermath of the mysterious disappearance,
How much you say again? Because when he said, I said, damn.
$250,000 worth of platinum pipes were stolen from the plant, and Dale Kerstetter was never seen or heard from again. In the aftermath of the mysterious disappearance, several theories were brought up to explain whether Dale was an innocent victim or an inside man in the high-stakes robbery. According to Dale's family, it would have been extremely unlike him to participate in a crime like this because he just wasn't that type of guy. He was described as an honest, loyal, family-loving, and fun-loving man who just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's possible that Dale might have spotted the masked man at some point during his shift, and when he went to investigate, the man may have coerced him into cooperating and then murdered him. If this theory is to be believed, then the bag that the man was hauling out of the building with a forklift could have contained Dale's body along with the platinum pipes.
True.
But other employees at the plant seem to have a completely different opinion based on their experience of Dale. For starters, whoever removed the platinum from the tank was very familiar with the layout of the plant. They knew exactly where the most valuable materials in the plant were, as well as all the tools they would need to extract the platinum pipes from the tank and quickly exit the tank area. Even though Dale had never stolen anything and was generally a good person, he had gotten into trouble several times with his employers for being a slow worker and having a bad attitude. In the investigation, it was also revealed that Dale was around $40,000 in debt after being demoted from his job as a trade worker at the plant, which meant he not only needed money at the time of the robbery, but wasn't at all happy with his employers after he was forced to take a $7,000 pay cut. This led some people to believe that he may have been in on the crime, which would explain how the masked man knew his way around the plant so well. Still, his family claims he would have had several other legal ways of obtaining the money before resorting to a high-stakes, premeditated robbery and disappearance without a trace. One of the things that makes the disappearance so ambiguous is Dale's behavior in the security camera footage. For starters, it's hard to tell if he was truly being forced to walk out of the room with the man, or if he was just pretending to be coerced. And when he looks up at the camera, it's really anyone's guess if he was silently begging for help, or if he was performing a sort of gesture of defiance toward his former employers. To this day, it's unknown if Dale was murdered after being the unwilling witness of a crime, or if he was an inside man who left his entire family behind for money.
What you think, C?
The behavior is strange when they stop like up at the top of up there, and like it's like they're like saying something to each other or
talking.
Or
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we talking about? Everything is calm. Like it just seems very calming. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not nervous. I'm not like.
But you also, if you are a victim in a situation like that, you do want to try to stay as calm as possible.
No, I definitely get that, but it's just me, you seem so. There's no weapons out. Don't seem that there's not a weapon to my back or to my, like, you know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know. I'm not saying he
Like
was
why you
in on it or
can
anything.
like fight back type.
I'm not saying he was in on it or anything. I'm just saying it just.
It is a high chance
Seems
possibility
very,
he could have been in on it. If he is down in the hole with some money, he got demoted on his job. Most people be like, F this job. After,
And
I looked up the inflation is worth, like, of today's, that's like stealing $500,000.
Okay.
Some people could steal $500,000, relocate.
And I get people like, yeah, may not have, never done anything like that, or maybe a good person, but you never know what someone would do under like stress or certain situations, or if they're in a hole, or if they feel like they're letting their family down and stuff like that. Because I don't know if those are all his kids in the picture or not.
Also, like I always say, how can you spot a murderer until they murder someone? You never know who's capable of doing something until they do it.
Yeah.
So you can never say this man is not capable of doing a heist. Just because he's never did it before doesn't mean he's not capable of it. No one knows what they're capable of until they decide to do it. A bank robber just don't wake up and everybody like, oh, you're going to be the one that robbed the bank. Now it's going to be a time where they say, okay, let me decide to go ahead and jump off and rob the bank. That's when they become a bank robber.
But then I guess my only other thing is he's nowhere to be found.
It's a lot of people that escaped and been able to hide.
No, I'm just saying if you were doing it like, to make sure your family was straight, like you didn't go back to, like, I don't know, it's just like, where are you now? Like, did you just do it for yourself and you just like ran away from like responsibilities and stuff like that? I don't know.
Some people do it. He probably married somewhere with a whole new family now. You never know.
Anyway.
But hey, y'all spam us up in the comments, man. Let us know y'all thoughts for us about it in the comment section down below. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is. We are. We out.
No time to kick it, got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar.